I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit something about myself. For some reason, I've been too scared and too embarrassed to ever actually go on a track day. And I think what I mean when I say I'm too embarrassed is something that affects a lot of car people. We always tell ourselves, well, my mods aren't good enough, my car's not fast enough, I don't have the driving skill to do that. Well, we don't normally say that part, but we all think it. And therefore we just don't do it. I know this from personal experience because I've had a license for 12 years and I still haven't gone on one. So I said, screw it. I'm not gonna wait for the perfect day, the perfect car, the right mods, all the stars to align. I should just go do one. Whatever skill level I have going into my first track day will be lower than anything I drive. So I decided to take what I have, my 95 Volkswagen Cabrio. And so that's the challenge. It is currently about noon on Sunday, and I have until Wednesday morning to get my car track day ready, or I will be turned away. This is one of the most famous racetracks in Canada, so they probably won't be too lenient for my oil leak, coolant leak, my 10-year-old tires. I will get turned away if my car does not pass a reasonable tech inspection. Welcome to our laboratory where my friends and I's ideas, well, they either come to live or die. I've abbreviated something that a lot of car people are guilty of. OCIC TOAP. Of course I can take on another project. We all think that we can do it eventually, and so we keep putting another car behind the other one and say, I'll get to it eventually. And that's exactly what I did. Between my girlfriend and I, mostly myself, I had 12 cars at the start of 2023. There were so many things that I was dividing my money and attention and time between that I never really maintained any of them well enough that I could say, that one can go on a track. So I sold them. I went from 12 to 6 cars in 2023, which still sounds like a lot, but these are ones I'm really excited about and I have passion about every single one of them. They have different purposes, they're all going to do something specific, and it gives me the ability to actually spend more money on them individually, just like what we're doing today. Fuel filter, oil filter stand gasket, coolant elbow, new coolant for once I drain the old coolant, spark plugs, shifter bushings, the other oil filter stand gasket, spark plug wires, brake pads front, brake pads rear. These are hardly revolutionary repairs, they're just things I have to do to the car to make sure it passes an inspection in 3 days. Okay, I just got this off the car. This is my little coolant elbow. It has some sensors in it, and you can see here there's a little bit of residue on the bolt holes, but I'm gonna put you in the engine bay. This is, I'm pretty sure that we found the leak here. That is the side of the block right underneath where this goes. Holy, that is just coolanty all the way down. And so I've got a new one of these. Hopefully that fixes the leak, because if it doesn't, no, it will. It will. It just will. So it turns out that the rear calipers on a 2000 Volkswagen Cabrio are twist-in style. I did not know that. I'm twisting it in by hands with a pair of pliers and doesn't actually seem to be moving at all, so. Nothing like a cinematic moment where you zoom in the camera and figure out where you want it before sitting back to make your point about how not well it's going, but it's not going very well. My rear brake caliper won't turn in. Genuinely spent an hour and a half on it. I don't want to take the other side apart because it doesn't make any sense. I have to do it tomorrow. So tomorrow after work, I'm going to see if I can sneak the car into a hoist and then use a tool, a proper tool, and see if I can press it while I twist it, or if I can find a caliper tomorrow to order in so that it's there if that doesn't work. It is now Monday at, what time is it, Kieran?
5:45.
5:45, my friend Kieran is helping me do this. I put the tires on at lunch. It took me exactly 59 minutes and like 50 seconds. It was the closest I've ever had a lunch hour go, so I've got 4 new tires on the car now. And I found my shifter linkage, and now we're gonna be trying to do those brake calipers that we're not moving. Okay, so clearly the best way to fix your car is to have someone who knows what they're doing help you with it. Because I'm not a mechanic. I'm a hobbyist who works on cars and takes pictures at a mechanic shop. So I know it may seem like I'm being a little excessive here about how worried I am whether the track will let me on. But the problem is when you're riding on a track, you're going to the limit of your car's grip, you're pushing it to its max, and you don't have insurance. So I want to make sure that I have the best conditioned car that I can, especially since I'm representing something that's 23 and it's likely going to be surrounded on Area 27 by Porsches and McLarens. Okay, this is just shot on my cell phone because my GoPro and my camera both died while I was filming the time lapse. I just got home and I think whatever was left of the center bearing of my passenger side drive shaft or CV axle gave out, and that's with this video here. Super stoked on that because it is currently Monday at 9:30 p.m. and I can hopefully order one tomorrow, because if I can't, I can hopefully order one tomorrow. So it's about 7 in the morning. I usually go to work for 8. I'm going to get there about 40 minutes ahead of time so that I can throw the car on the hoist and see what that clicking noise is and see if I can find some play in my CV axle. But I did just notice that there's a giant pool of oil underneath the car after I fixed the leaks yesterday. Doesn't look very fixed to me. All right, I have no idea what time it is. I'm pretty sure, honestly, it could be 6 or 7, I'm not sure. 8:02. I just put the front motor mount in because when we looked at it, they're all wobbly and terrible. But I can only get the front and rear on such short notice, so I put the front in. It took me way too long because I didn't read all that and know that you drop the front subframe. If you're gonna do this, take a car that you've well maintained, not a car that you bought from sitting for 3 years, started driving a little bit, and then signed up for a track day a week away from when you needed to go. I really hope this works, because if not, I just have a really well maintained Cabrio now. It's got all of the best things in it now for me to drive it on the street, but hopefully a track day tomorrow. Evidently, as I edit this, it turns out I forgot to turn my microphone on my drive home, but as you can see from my facial expressions, I was excited but slightly trepidatious that the car was finally fixed. I definitely think if you're going to have one of the oldest cars there, you should try to have one of the cleanest cars there. It is certainly dark o'clock at night, so I don't have time to do a polish and a compound on it, but I am trying to make it as clean as possible just to see if I can get it kind of presentable. I'm going to do the windows and the interior, and then I've washed the outside with the wand, as you can see. I'm going to quickly finish up with cleaning and then go to bed. It is 5:25, the morning of the event. I am lying on the floor. The puddle that's underneath it is from yesterday, so that is the final cog. I am a tech inspection away of learning if my work paid off, so still as stressed as ever, but let's see what happens. So it's going well this morning. After we went through West Kelowna, the front CV axle started just aggressively clicking and shaking, and the car is almost undrivable. It feels very destructive, and super feeling great about it. So we're stopping at the Lordco in Penticton, which is the closest one to the racetrack, and we're hoping they have a passenger side CV axle for a 2000 Volkswagen Cabrio. Lordco had a CV axle, as you can hear by the car. It is definitely clicking, clanking, shaking the gear stick. But they didn't have a 30mm 12-point socket for my axle nut, and they didn't have the M10 Allen key for my CV axles. So basically we're going to have to see if the technician that they brought, because Ford is hosting the track day, said they will have a technician on site, will we'll have to find out if they have those tools that are mostly Volkswagen specific. And that's really the deciding factor. If they don't have those, I'm gonna go look at a racetrack.
I've been around motorsports since the mid-70s.
I feel so out of place here. The Ford guys at Skaha Ford, amazing dealership. They are bringing some tools for me from the shop. So those will be here in a couple hours. So I'm gonna get the front wheel off, try to get the axle shaft out. I don't have the 30 mil axle nut. So let's see what happens. As I sit on the ground beside the racetrack that I want to be racing on, I have my new CV axle, very full of grease. Holy crap, please hope this works. It's gonna work. It's...
Three, two, one, hit it!
All right, it is currently 1:30, and I have done one successful lap around the autocross track and one unsuccessful lap around the autocross track. Finally gonna get onto track. I am more nervous than I was last night when I was driving home thinking it was okay. I am elated, but I am nervous as heck. So I'm gonna be on a lead lap style, so I'm gonna be following another car ahead of me. They're gonna have a radio telling me what to do. I'm so stoked, I'm excited to be out here, so let's go racing. I accidentally had the air conditioning on the first time I went out, so the car got hot. I had no power. I didn't notice because when you're moving, you don't notice the AC. And I was like, why is the car so slow? It was way faster the second time out without the AC on. So I'm having a blast. This has been a great day. I'll be back. We just finished up our fourth run of the day, and this is amazing. I kind of lost second gear for a while there. The car's held up. The morning was a terrible morning, but we ended up getting through it. I am unbelievably stoked, and if anyone is ever questioning whether they should do a track day, yes, you should. Do it in whatever car you have. And here we are. It's a couple days past. I still have my car. I didn't magically get recruited to an F1 team. I didn't blow them away. But I also stayed on track. I ended up getting my 3 runs in the afternoon. I went out on a track day. All my fear of the first time is gone. I did it. It happened. And maybe it wasn't the right car for me to take. If you check out this video here, that's one I'd much rather have been in. And we'll get that one running and maybe we'll go next year. But in the end, I am ecstatic that it happened. And thank you very much for watching.